Welcome back, my beautiful people, to STR News and Digest, your go-to place for everything related to short-term rental, travel, and the business of hospitality. Today, I always say this, but today I'm hoping it's going to be a short show. I don't have a lot of stuff to cover, but I do want to share and give you guys some tips on some phenomenal destinations. We're going to be talking about what Airbnb is betting on. We're also going to talk about, or we have some news on some bankruptcies and why I think that happened. And I want you guys' opinion to tell me why you think some of the situation going on around travel and the short-term rental industry. So, again, as always, guys, if you have any questions or comments, list them below, and we'll try to get to them. As you know, we'll answer them during the show. If you're watching this on playback, then just list them, and then I'll get to those questions during next week's STR News and Digest. Two things. Number one, I apologize for being an hour late. And number two, I apologize for the camera itself and the lighting. If you're not aware, I think I mentioned this in the last STR News. I am gutting my house and my office. We're doing a complete remodel in our property. So I'm going to be out of my house for probably to the beginning of the year. So I'm staying in one of my properties in Fort Lauderdale, and this is the best I can do for now. Now, we did STR News and Digest when I was in my vineyard. I'm going to try to spend more time in the vineyard and do a couple of STR News and Digest at the vineyard. Number one, as you guys know, if you're a subscriber, if you follow the show, I love that place. I love my office in that place. I love background. So hopefully I can give you guys, I can do some more STR News and Digest from the vineyard and not necessarily here, but from right now, this is what we got. Let's go ahead and dive into the first story I want to talk about. And I want to give you guys some hidden gems for Christmas destinations. Now, if you follow this channel and you know me, these destinations are, when I say they're hidden gems, they're hidden gems. They're not well known except for select few well-versed travelers, but they're phenomenal. The first place I want to talk about is Talan, Estonia, and it's a picturesque medieval town that's wrapped around the city there, the old town there, during Christmas. In fact, Lorena, can you show us a little bit about Estonia?
Yes, let me know if you can.
So as you can see, they really know how to do Christmas. I mean, the square, or like we call it in Spanish, La Plaza, it's beautiful. I mean, they put lights and they do a good job with the lighting all over the place. I mean, when you go there, number one, it's going to be cold, right? You got to like the code, or you got to be okay. I don't like the code, but sometimes I'm okay with the code, especially if I'm experiencing what I experienced in Estonia. It is, it's again, it has a very medieval feel to it. The architectural, I mean, you really feel like you're going back in time when you go here. And during Christmas, like I personally really felt like it was the holidays. I was in the Christmas spirit. Beautiful, people. And chances are you will see a white Christmas. There'll be snow when you go there. So that's location number one. I'm going to give you two more. That next destination is going to be in Poland, and is I'll spell it for you because I can't really pronounce it, but it's WROCLAW. Now, here's what I love about this really beautiful, charming Polish city. Number one, it's is because of its history. Really old. There's a lot of historic markets there. In addition to that, the town has a lot of alleys. They call them alleys, but I call them like street. They're cobblestone. Uh, they have um, um, again. When you go there, it's like going back in time. It's really interesting. Here's another big thing about all three destinations. You're not going to run into a lot of crowds. Me personally, that's what I want. I don't want tons and tons of people all over the place like you see in New York City. I used to go at least every other year to Rockefeller Center, see the Christmas tree being lit. Man, but I got so fed up with the crowds that I haven't been there in a little bit, and you're not going to see that here. In this particular town as well, you're going to get a kind of uh, authenticity that you're only going to find here. This is why I highly recommend this place. Lorena, do you have any videos of this place? Oh yeah, those are the ones you're showing. Okay. So
Yes.
so yeah, so check this out. I mean, look at how old or not old. Look at the architecture of the buildings. It's just really, really beautiful, especially during Christmas. And again, you gotta like being cold because it does get pretty damn cold. And all these three destinations that I'm about to give you. The next destination and the last one is going to be Pravos in Romania. It's the old Transylvania. I can't pronounce that. But where Dracula's from, right? It's that place is cool. Here's what's really unique about this place. Number one is the mountain views. There, you're going to have markets all along the hillside, which I found to be extremely amazing. They're also very big in arts and craft and artisan stuff. So you're going to see a lot of that. And you'll definitely get that winter, the cozy winter vibe. And you're not going to be overwhelmed with tourists. Do you have any videos? Or are you showing videos? Because I'm not looking at the screen. Okay, yeah.
Yes, yes, I'm showing.
Okay, yeah. So check that out. I mean, that is the square. I mean, that tree. This video is not, or this picture or video is not doing it justice. That tree is humongous. So as I mentioned, I used to go to Rockefeller Center in New York City to look at the tree, right? The lighting of the tree. That place, that tree, really, it's definitely much more awe-stricken or awe-striking than the one you see in Rockefeller Center. So again, highly recommend those three spots if you're looking for a place to spend Christmas. And a hidden gem, because one thing I didn't mention about all these three places as well is that it's inexpensive. You're going to pay maybe 1/3 of what you would pay going to New York City for a weekend to watch a walk through Rockefeller Center and look at the Macy's display, right? You're going to literally spend 1/3. In fact, I would splurge on business class tickets from the U.S. to this destination because you're going to save tons of money by going. Your food is inexpensive. The food is very good. The people are very nice. You're not going to be overrun with tourists. So I personally, this is what I like. And if you're interested, I highly recommend you take a look at those three destinations. Okay. Now, let's move on to the next thing I want to talk about. As I mentioned, I am gutting my house. I mean, it's a complete gut. We're remodeling everything. I took everything down to the studs, right? So it got me thinking about 2026 and what you guys should be doing, especially if you're looking to buy or get into the short-term rental industry. I'm going to give you some design trends for 2026. Now, these trends that I'm going to be talking about, I looked through countless design magazines, and I gathered some of the top 3 stuff in each, right? So let's talk first about colors. And there's 2 things you need to understand about color itself. Number 1 is the base should be a natural calm color, meaning uh, the days of gray. If you follow my channel, like when I got into this game and we started, I want to say 5, 6 years ago, we went with a lot of gray shades, right? Olympic white, which is like a light gray shade. We did a lot of grays in our properties. We're we're shifting that. We started that shift in Q1 of 2025, but now looking at the trends, it's really going towards this. So here's what some of the lighter shades you should be looking at. Number 1 is plain white, right? Like this wall behind me, plain white. It should be your base, right? And or some of the other colors that are coming up will be like a jade, herbal green, teals, and some modern neutral colors. So if you don't know what they are, I would Google modern neutral so you can see what modern neutral colors look like. They're more of the lighter beiges, the off whites, but in the white right world, right? And then you want to accent that with some bold, rich tones like burgundy, like black. Um, when I finish with mine, you're going to see we have a lot of black incorporated into our design. So just to give you an idea, we're going with the color's white for the base of the color, but we have a mixture of a light wood color for our vanities in our bathrooms. We're going black with some of the cabinets. So, for example, we're doing a pretty large coffee station. In fact, the coffee machine that I'm putting in there is a coffee machine that was introduced to me on my last trip to Europe. I went to this cafe and I saw this humongous espresso coffee machine. It was huge. And I saw that the barista, whatever people were ordering, they would put it on there and they'll hit a button. Let's say you wanted a latte or you wanted a caramel frat. All you had to do was push this button and it created whatever you asked for, right? I asked the guy, he gave me the information on that coffee machine. Extremely expensive. I'm not going to tell you how much it is because some of you guys are going to say that I'm crazy, but extremely expensive. But I was in awe of this coffee machine. And that's going to be the focal point of my coffee bar. That's going to be actually in the middle of the main area in the house, right? Because we have an open concept. So we have the living room and the dining room, and that open area, that coffee bar is going to be directly in the middle. But the point is that the cabinets in the coffee bar are going to be black. We're going to have some wood accent to it. Like, for example, the countertop. And then in my entertainment, where my TV is, again, we're going with black cabinets with some wood trimming in the black cabinets. And again, the wall is white. So that's kind of what the color scheme is, just to give you an idea, right? Next, you want to go, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about colors, but the idea here is called color drenching. And it's basically is that warm white feel to it. Should be your base. That cream white, like I said, some of that off-white stuff, that's what should be your base. In terms of the actual design, in terms of your cabinets, your walk space, doors, etc., they should accent anything you're doing. So go with more round fixtures. So, for example, rounding of your countertop, not a square, but a little bit more round, right? That's for your countertops. That's what's trending for 2026. Same thing with like doorways, and you're going to see how we're designing our crown molding in our cabinets. Again, they're going to be a little bit more curvy. Again, that's what's trending for 2026. All right, let's go on to some actual news now. We're gonna I'm going to give you just 4 stories on news. The first one is on Saunders. If you're not familiar with Saunders, Saunders was a extremely fast growing property management company for short-term rentals. They really got into the game with the rental arbitrage, and this is where I think they got into trouble. But nonetheless, they became a publicly traded company. They made tons of money. But I've always talked about growing is what you want as a business owner, but a controlled growth is what's important. They are officially shutting down. They just released a newsletter stating that the company has announced it is winding down operations and entering bankruptcy restructuring. And many analysts point to the fact that they grew so fast, it was that they couldn't keep up with the growth and they were bleeding, like seriously, like gushing cash flow money, right? And without that cash flow coming in and supporting what you're trying to do, you're going to put yourself into a lot of financial troubles. And that's exactly what happened to Saunders. Now, Saunders came in that same newsletter, kind of pointed the finger at Marriott, right? And I don't really understand the ins and outs as to why they pointed the finger at Marriott, but I did some research and I did some digging. But prior to that, Marriott and Saunders had signed an agreement, a partnership agreement, that their 900 listings, because that's what Saunders had. They had 900 total listings that Marriott was, or they were going to advertise all their listings on Marriott, which it's a little bit against their policy because Marriott, they don't want, in the short-term rental world, they don't want competitions from the hotel. So if you had a studio or a one-bedroom apartment, and currently they're not allowed to be advertised on their short-term rental side on Marriott, right? Because you're competing directly with the hotel. Real quick. Yeah, I just want to double check something. Because you're actually competing with the hotel. But apparently they had made an exception with Saunders. And at the last minute, Marriott backed out. Now, here's Marriott's side of the story, right? Marriott International is pushing back on the claims made by Saunders in the bankruptcy discussions when they filed for bankruptcy. Marriott's side of the story is that they signed that agreement with certain stipulations in that agreement that Saunders didn't meet. And I can tell you, as a host and a property manager that has Marriott properties, they're not easy to get on their website, right? There's certain standards you need to have. There's certain like classifications of the property that it needs to have in order to be on there. And I know that Saunders, some of their properties were not in the best neighborhoods, were not high quality, and a lot of them were really rental arbitrage properties. And again, if you follow this channel, and if you don't, I'm going to tell you, rental arbitrage that was being sold 3 or 4 years ago as the end-all be-all, I warned everyone back then, don't do it. There's not a single, I'm going to repeat that. There's not a single company that's tried any type of rental arbitrage, because I'm going to go back. There was a big company just like Saunders that did it in the commercial side, and I'm kind of drawing a blank of the name of the WeWorks came to me. WeWorks was doing exactly the same thing that Saunders was doing. WeWorks went bankrupt. Saunders went bankrupt, and everyone that bought into the idea that they could sustain a business long-term doing rental arbitrage are no longer in business, right? So that, my friends, is the real reason why Saunders is out of business, or one of the main reasons why they're out of business, because rental arbitrage doesn't work. It's never worked long-term, and it's been tried I'm talking before short-term rentals came about. Many businesses have tried the arbitrage game, and most, if not all, have failed because it's not sustainable. Now, moving on to the last thing I'm going to talk about, and I'm going to stay on. Oh, actually, two more things. I'm sorry, and both are going to be Airbnb related. Airbnb's next big bet is going to be on hotels. I've been saying this for a while, and if you're a short-term rental operator, this is where you need to be shifting. I've been saying this for a long time now. In certain markets, residential short-term rental properties are a thing of the past, right? Number one, most markets are oversaturated. Number two, a lot of cities are fighting against that, creating regulations and rules that make it almost impossible to have a sustainable business using residential properties as short-term rentals. So I've been saying, stop doing that and invest in multi-unit properties and convert them into hotel motels, right? You're still going to be in the short-term rental game, but now you're dealing with, let's say, for example, a five-unit apartment building like we have in West Palm Beach, right? We just converted that, got it licensed as a hotel motel, and we're in business, right? So if Airbnb goes away, if the city decides to put regulations on Airbnb, it doesn't affect me because my property technically is not an Airbnb anymore. Now it's a hotel motel, right? So Airbnb is realizing that this is a major issue, and they're getting into the hotel game in places like Madrid, that I've talked about before, Barcelona, and New York City, just to name three destinations in which they're currently investing in creating either hotels or buying mom and pop hotels and motels, or partnering with private hotel companies, right? The other big move they're doing related to hotels is they're trying to entice the Marriotts, the Hyatts, to advertise on Airbnb, advertise their property, doing that stuff. Don't know if that's going to go well, because Marriott and Hyatt, for example, two of the largest hotel chains in the world, currently have their own booking platform, right? As I already mentioned, they're using people like me to advertise on Marriott's website to promote the short-term rental side. In addition to that, Marriott, I've talked about this before, they're getting into the alternative accommodation market. What's an alternative accommodation market? What I'm doing at my vineyard in Georgia, right? The glamping style stuff, the eco hotels that we're seeing a lot in Colombia that I've featured on this channel, right? That's where Marriott is heavily invested in. In fact, they bought out, I believe it was Cabin something. They bought out two alternative accommodation companies. One that's strictly about cabins, and the other one is a little bit more glamping related. They bought them, and they're managing them now. So that is the way. That's where I see the future of short-term rentals going. If you're in a big market like the Chicago's, New York, Detroit, in California, because California is going down the same route, like LA, Barcelona, Madrid, just to name big cities that are pushing back against residential short-term rentals, highly recommend you start to look into commercial properties, right? 5, 6, 7, 10 unit apartment buildings, and then converting the whole thing into a hotel, right? Same thing, buying up a lot of these small mom and pop, small boutique hotels. That's where I'm heading towards. That's where I'm going through, trying to invest in, because that's the future, people. What was the last thing? Oh, and then the last thing I'm going to talk about that Airbnb is really pushing, and they're testing this out in several markets, although I think you can beat them to the punch, and that is they want to fill up your refrigerator, right? So when you book a short-term rental property, what they did was they created a partnership in these specific areas with Instacart. So you can go on when you book the property, you can go on and ask for whatever you want to buy, and it'll get delivered to the property. as a short-term rental operator, I am telling you, jump on this bandwagon. Put it in your upsales, put it in your digital guidebook, and create your own Instacart account and provide that as a service to your guests. Even if you don't monetize it, meaning even if you're not going to get money from the actual delivery because you're going to be paying, not you, but the guests will be paying for the groceries through Instacart. But here's what that does. It provides a better guest experience. As a result, you're going to get a better review and it trickles down into more bookings, more money in your pocket. Jump on this bandwagon, people, because it's coming. And Airbnb, if this works well for Airbnb, it's going to be throughout the world that they list on. And instead of they get the credit, you get the credit. So jump on that. The last thing I'm going to talk about right now, it's going to be our sponsors of the show. I do have a couple of questions I need to answer, but I want to talk about the Dream Media team, which is one of the sponsors for the show. The Dream Media team, and again, it's myself and Lorena are owners of the company. But if you're looking for a marketing company that specializes in short-term rental, then look no further than the Dream Media team. If you're interested in learning more about them or about the company itself and what they do, then just DM us the word or send us an email and with the words Dream Media, and then we'll send you all the information you need to kick off and market your short-term rental and give it the marketing that it deserves. I'm telling you, people, 2026 should be your best year, but it's only going to be your best year if you learn how to market your short-term rental. Now, if you don't want to hire the Dream Media team, then my next best option is to buy our ebook. Our ebook is an interactive ebook that's going to take you from A through Z, everything you need to know and do to market your short-term rental so that your revenues increase and you'll have the best 2026 year in terms of revenue that we had all since inception, right? The last sponsor of this show is going to be Patriot Apparel, which is the maker of this beautiful pullover. I love the American flag here. But these pullovers and their t-shirts are phenomenal. I've talked about them before. Highly recommend them. If you're in the market for a quality t-shirt or a quality pullover, if you're looking for a gift to give someone, highly recommend you look into Patriot Crew. All this information is going to be in the description down below. That's going to be it. Lorena, do we have any questions?
Yes, we have two. Let me share in the screen. Okay, what is the best way to rent a property in Florida?
I'm assuming you're asking about short-term rentals. Here's the best thing to do. Go to my website, Dream Vacations and Rentals by PMI. Dream Vacations and Rentals by PMI. The link will be down below. Go to my website, search all the properties we have. When you identify one that's available for the days that you want to come to South Florida, then send me an email or a text or reach me out on social media and say, hey, I saw this property. I want these dates, and I will give you the best deal possible. Guarantee is going to be cheaper than anywhere you find that property. If anywhere, then because we're advertised on Booking, on Vrbo, on Airbnb, on our own website, right? I will give you a better rate than any platform. I will send you a direct link so you can get the best deal to come stay in South Florida. Any other question?
Perfect. Give me 1 second. Wait. Okay. I saw it. Okay, they say like.
I see it. I see it. The question is, maybe do you know when is the boat parade in Fort Lauderdale? The boat parade in
Mhm.
Fort Lauderdale is on December 13th. And I'm glad you mentioned the boat parade. Um, we just talked about how beautiful those three hidden gems are in Europe, right? Specifically in Eastern Europe. I'm going to give you another destination, which is Fort Lauderdale. Now you're going to have to deal with crowds. Uh, but Fort Lauderdale during Christmas time is also a phenomenal place to spend Christmas. Now, it's not going to be your traditional Christmas because you're not going to get snow. It might be a little chilly, and I say chilly because for some of you guys, you may not even feel it. But for us Floridians, sometimes it does get chilly. Like yesterday was 45 degrees in the morning, which for me that's freaking cold, right? It was cold. Um, but for you guys, that may not be cold. But it's a great escape to leave the coast because you're going to get, come very soon. You're going to get tired of that cold. And the boat parade is a beautiful manifestation of what Floridians think about Christmas, right? You're going to see some beautiful boats with some awesome Christmas decorations. I mean, if you've never been to it, I am telling you, you're going to be super impressed. But you need to do the following: you need to book early and you need to buy your tickets early because they sell out. And I recommend that you buy the tickets for the grandstand so that you're center stage and then you can hear the announcer and all that. Now, there's multiple areas throughout the route that you can stay. You don't have to be there. Um, so you don't even have to buy a ticket because there's going to be a lot of places you can actually sit down and watch it. But get the full experience if you've never been there. Buy your tickets, go to the grandstand, and just enjoy that parade. It's beautiful. It's on December 13th. Book your short-term rental now. I can tell you for us, we don't have a lot of units available, but also buy your tickets now because it does sell out. Great questions. If that is it, I want to say thank you guys. Quick reminder for those of you guys that are interested in my other channel that's completely unrelated to this channel. I have an e-bike channel where I travel and show you the world through e-bikes, show you the benefits of owning an e-bike. If you're interested in that content, then go to my Watt Hustle channels, Watt Hustle, WATT Hustle. Go to that channel, subscribe. Again, if you're into that, you're going to get some phenomenal content. You're going to see some beautiful places. I mean, I can tell you that we put some of the videos from Switzerland, from LJ, Georgia, and many more to come. And in addition to that, I'm going to be showing you on that channel how you can save money and even make money with an e-bike. Anyway, my beautiful people, love you guys. I'll see you in the next one.